we're live, we're alive and doing well. And there's people dying in this world that don't have to because men are in charge. Ladies, um, this planet is getting fucked up and you're supposed to be running it. And men are running it into a wall at 85 miles an hour like a crash dummy. They don't give a fuck about fucking or fighting. They give little else their attention. What do you say, Aleki?
I would say so because at the same time, you know, men go against men, and it's like two bucks going at it.
That's it. They do it in nature, all across the board, and the female black widow is smart. She eats him, so he can't do any more damage. On my tray, ladies and gentlemen, I have it blasted on my stomach in ink. I can walk a level 4 yard and get away with it because no one will fuck with me except my own kind behind my back, where I have to watch for them, Taz and Stretch and all the other white boys that I did time with. Gator, would I have to worry about the Aryan brotherhood because I actually played chess on level 4 yard with D-Ray? He's an Oak Park blood. He's a member of the Black Gorilla family and a master at chess. I can beat chess on expert, Aleki. Did you know that?
I know.
Yeah, I can beat on a computer. I can beat it on expert. D-Ray schooled me, okay, to the point where I think I might have won one game and he might have thrown it to me. Because he was getting a bag of chips every game that we played. And it was money well spent, Gator. I learned a lot. And I learned that I can't trust most white boys as far as I can throw them. I can trust the Mexicans and I can trust the blacks. Like I trust Snubs, you know, that's my nigga. Straight up, we had deep conversations when we were stoned. And I opened up and told him I'm albino, internally black. The outside I look white, but on the playing field, let's talk football for a second, America. How many white boys, how many blacks can cover man to man and shut people down? Deion Sanders? Not many of them. And I did it in practice at Notre Dame. I did it in games when I was allowed to. It never came up because I wasn't in the pass. I was a smash and run defender. I put people out of games. I put this, like we were playing Vernon Day. They were ranked number 3 in the country. They were on a 35-game win streak. Yeah. And they came in and we played them and they had a you know, in the back goes into the flats and catches a pass and turns up and jukes and runs. Okay, well, I read it, and as soon as he caught the ball, I fucking nailed him in the head. I was a headhunter.
Well, what you say this time? That was a good team to beat, right?
Well, yeah, we did beat them. Did we beat them? I'll tell you what, we came close, and they respected white boys ever since playing football, I would imagine, because this back, I hit him so hard that his helmet was turned like he couldn't see where he was going, and he walked to our sideline. Okay, they had to help him. He was out of the game with a concussion, and I did that on a regular basis. I was fierce, and
Danny, the middle linebacker goes from the outside, right?
Goes from the inside out.
Inside out. Okay.
You know, and usually only tackle to tackle. You know, because most inside linebackers aren't all that fast. Okay. They can't cover sideline to sideline generally. I was sideline to sideline, homeboy. I was the fastest on the field, whoever we played against. Maybe not the quickest, but the fastest by far. And I would have been a first-round draft pick, Deion Sanders, had I not quit football, according to a scout who saw me get 2.5 sacks in the '86 spring game. 2.5 sacks in one game. That's pretty good, huh? Aleki?
Yeah, so good.
2.5 sacks in one game.
Oh, true, yeah. Just,
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we were going against Notre Dame. It was Notre Dame against Notre Dame in the '86 spring game, and I dominated.
it's good stuff.
I think I won defensive MVP. I'm not sure. I didn't pay attention. I knew I was on my way to the NFL. I knew I was headed for stardom. And then Lou Holtz fires me for making the greatest stop in the history of Notre Dame. You've seen it.
Right.
What do you think of it?
I think that it was if you weren't sticking to the play, I could see his frustration, but it was a good play that played out to
Are you stoning like you pay?
Yes, I am. That's a fact. Yes.
I'll tell you what, it's on John Jay's weed, Andrew, and we're getting stoned on Andrew's weed, aren't we, gentlemen?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are on a regular basis. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah,
I don't. Do you know Andrew's last name? I never asked him.
No. I just called him by his first name.
Andrew from Cloud Sprout. He's a stud. He's going down to South America tomorrow. He's been offered a job in Bolivia, I believe, where they have emeralds and shit, and they're gonna pay him to do something on the internet with females. He's invited me to go down with him. I'm thinking about it. It could be a blast. I could make more of a dent in Peru with stevia than I could in America, because America is running around with their fucking heads cut off at a furious pace because there's so much fluoride in the water. We were dosed with more. Did you know there's more fluoride in our water system and in our bodies than the Germans dosed the Jews with pre-World War II, homeboy?
Yeah, I could only imagine so, because you can't go replacing everybody's pipe at the same time. It's just too much work, and not.
Well, no, it's not. They can't. It's not replacing pipe. It's what they put in.
Oh, okay.
You know, the fluoride, and we brush our teeth with it. We spit it down the sink back into our water supply with it. They dose our water with it at the plant, and it's numbing people. It's making them dumb. It's making them actually consider electing Donald Trump for a second term. Even when he's faced with 37 felony convictions, indictments, the guy is going PC whether he was president or not.
So is P. Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs,
Yeah.
Sean John Combs. He set up Tupac to have murdered in Las Vegas.
Can they prove it though?
Can they prove it? Well, the hitman is in jail right now.
Full conversation.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Isn't that funny?
yeah.
You know, I heard a lot of stories about P. Diddy. Do people like him?
Not really.
Not really. Wow, it's gonna be a fucking ass-warming experience for you, homeboy.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Yeah. So back to Gator and the Aryan Brotherhood. Would I have to worry about my own kind because I knocked Sack Maniac Taz out on a level 4 yard in front of everybody, to where the Oak Park Zilla Bloods and Snubs and the Nuestro Familia, the Northerners, the Mexicans, and Spider were chanting my name, Dan Quinn, Dan Quinn, 2 hours after I was gone, according to Bryce Twisted Peeler. I told you that, didn't
Right.
I? Okay. Well, I get along famously with blacks and whites.
He's
and
the one
Mexicans.
that's in Solano, right?
He's in Salinas Valley State.
Okay.
Salinas Valley State Prison, and Greg Coautte, Officer Coautte, tell the truth that you didn't duck down because Bryce Peeler was running past your car with a gun. Tell the truth that he actually exited his vehicle and then made straight for the nearest fence, jumped it, and was gone. Okay? Or what I'm going to do with billions of dollars, along with helping people. Like, you guys know that I've adopted 2 Nigerians, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've sent them each $20, and one of the Nigerians bought food, and another Nigerian bought his way into school somehow for
Some classes?
Well, not some classes. There was a term that he used, but I guess it was like registration. Um, and I'm gonna continue to give them $20 a month. Hopefully, I can step it up to a week. Hopefully, I can step it up to a day. You know, with as much money as I get. I'm going to be rich, ladies and gentlemen. Dan Quinn's number is 760-809-1744 for the foreseeable future. Oh, there's a blue jay. See that?
Yeah, I just seen it go down.
Yeah, beautiful nature, and we're killing it. Oprah Winfrey, at every turn, every decision that white America makes, the rest of the world follows. Because we're ahead of the game. It's almost like we had access to alien technology, and they sold us bunk technology in petroleum, using it as a fuel source. It's not even a source of fuel.
Petroleum? What about petroleum and dry ice? Because you know gasoline is very cold.
You know what, brother? I don't know if there's any combination. I think that dry ice will cool stuff down and make it more stable. But petroleum isn't even used to power your car. It's used to explode the hydrogen and power, and then it vaporizes in the smog and smoke, and it's gone forever, invalidating, negating, thrashing Einstein's theory that nothing ever vanishes. Did you know he said that? That nothing ever disappears, according to Einstein, and that's just not true.
Like, I was gonna say something about the not the water, but I forgot. I don't mind.
You're stoned.
Yeah, I'm really stoned.
So, Kamu, how many days was I up for?
Good 5 days straight, and then another 4 hours, 2 hours sleep. 2 days in a row, and then it's
Yeah,
been
extra
up.
2 days put him to 7 days.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had, at the tops, Oprah Winfrey, I had 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep in a 7-day period and was feeling wonderful. Went 5 days straight, and I probably could have gone longer had I been more stimulated in my mind, but I'm poor, and so I don't have a lot of opportunity except for these YouTube videos, and I'm making a dent. People are starting to come back on board, Joe Rogan. I'll tell you what, Joe, I'm gonna legally fuck you up, son. You have no idea what's coming. I'm gonna find out everybody who hates you, and we're gonna get into it. And I'm sure they're out there because you're part of the Native Whites crew. And you two set me up with TMZ. I should have shown you that picture. It's me going like this, snarling, look at my worst. And TMZ broadcast it to the world and said that it was my voice that was threatening to kill Dana White and shoot him up and do all these things. And it was actually an Irish or an English accented voice, and they got away with it. I wonder what the statute of limitations is for a suit.
I'm not too sure.
They have them. The statutes are out because white America doesn't want to get tripped up for crimes that they committed down the road. And I don't think there should be a statute of limitations on anything, to tell you the truth. If you did wrong, you should be able to pay for it when people are ready to make it, to make you pay for it. Sometimes
For this show, sorry to interrupt. So far as we come to the millennium, to AD to BC in history, and the Egyptians, like unexplainable language and our work and their writing, like this world has come a long way. They gotta put a structure over the U.S. Because you know they went to World War I, World War II.
we
World
can't
War
survive
II, I think, was
World War
the
III.
You know, the peace. You know, that's why it's very rare. Okay, we have terrorism. There's no stopping terrorism. Like there's no racism.
If we stopped invading countries economically and started spreading their own wealth around, there'd be no reason for terrorism. So actually, there's too many guys. I can't speak for the idiots in Hamas, and I can speak for the 9/11 terrorists. I know exactly what happened. What happened was U.S. intelligence, they found out that they were planning on driving planes into buildings, and what the Bush crew did was mine it with explosives, so when the planes actually did fly in, they destroyed them because there was evidence in there, some kind of financial evidence that would have been bad for the Bushes down the road, and the Bushes were head of security. Did you know that? A Bush family.
Okay.
And do you think buildings can crumble all the way to dust on the ground by two planes flying into the top and getting hot?
It was I agree with you there to a point because the building, not only did it crumble down to ground zero, but at the same time, it came down like tumbling.
It came apart.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the kicker. The star of it. That makes me agree with you. The building, some of the structure should have stood up. So you're telling me there was a bullshit structure when they were building it? Because it came down clean.
It came down like a planned demolition, brother.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what it was. And America is still convinced that Osama bin Laden was behind it. And I bet you when it happened, Osama bin Laden was like, oh, motherfucker. They're going to blame me for this. And it's amazing Americans think that America is so pro-democracy when Allende in Chile, I believe, was ousted by the CIA. He was duly elected by the Chilean and the CIA. America didn't want that. I think it had to do with fruit of some kind.
Holy shit.
Here's another thing. Like when something gets demolished, it's like the ones that did it takes power. It just takes all the power out of it.
Damn.
That's going into another topic.
Yeah.
The violin. I'm making a movie, ladies. It's called The Violin, an apology to women, and it's going to show me inserting my fingers inside of the vagina and then pressing down on top of the belly against those inside fingers and massaging. And every time I do, it's going to make you come. You won't be able to stop yourself. As a matter of fact, in the past, I made a video saying that if anybody ever raped a woman and used the violin to pleasure her, I would kill him and his entire family. Through the Russians, they'll do it with enough money, correct? Right. Straight up. I talked to the Russians when I was locked up on 8 West 200 pod. And I said, if somebody were to assassinate me, if my sons came with money, would you do everybody in their family? And I'm not talking their blood family. I'm talking their family like the Vagos. I told you about the Vagos, right?
No, I don't remember.
This biker club that I was hanging around a little bit because my best friend, Ross Clifton, who passed away and gave me his dog, he was a Vago. He was an honorary Vago. They pulled him in because of his name in the criminal underworld. And I got to hang around Crazy Joe a little bit. And Joe, actually at the end of our relationship, had 8 Vagos try to kick my ass. All right, and what I did is I got on my back and covered up. I saw every punch, every fucking kick that was coming, and they didn't bust a grape. And it all started over this car, a 1991 Mazda 929. I told you about that car, right?
I think so.
How special it was. I knew what I was looking at when I saw the dump that didn't run. Joe was being given this car, but it didn't run. And he didn't have the money, to do it himself. And so what I said is, I'll pay for the engine as a down payment on me getting the car, because I want this car. It's special. Okay, it's like me playing football. Straight up, that's what I told him. This car, when it came out in '91, was a fucking absolute beast. It demolished Ford, Chevrolet, and Dodge in tests, to the point where America actually banned them making that same car at that same level.
Yeah.
Okay, it was so good. This is a true story, Joe Rogan. Especially since Dick Delaware's son shot up a gay club. They could do a story on Dick Delaware. Aaron Brink and I were just coming up to the Grapevine in this car. It was green, but the paint was fading and it looked old. You feel me? But it had a brand new fucking engine in it, right? Rebuilt. I just paid $800, and we come up to the Grapevine, and this fucking white boy in a Mustang 5.0 pulls up beside us, and he's like, you know, like, huh, you want to race? And I looked up, I looked at him, said, you want to do this? And he's like, let's go. And I smoked this fucker to the point where he turned around. Okay, I think I don't know if he can turn around in the Grapevine. I don't think he can, but he was so far back we couldn't even see him. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's how powerful this fucking car was.
One time we got snowed in the Grapevine. Same thing with Reno. Went to Colfax, had to turn around.
Yeah.
One time we drove in the snow. That was the worst feeling ever, because basically you're looking at all white light.
And you can't tell where the fuck what's what.
Yeah, so it's like just all you can see what's in front of you, and the right side we just had to follow the white line. That way you could tell if you're close to the curb.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna turn.
Let's get back to talking about Joe Rogan. What is your impression of Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan, I seen him from Fear Factor first, and then podcasts, and then MMA. I mean,
what is your impression? Do you like him?
I think I don't know. That guy's, he could be an asshole, but at the same time, he's another challenge. You know?
Well, he shouldn't be a challenge, homeboy.
Yeah.
After Diego, the Nightmare Sanchez, left a message for him on his voicemail saying that Stevie was the cure, and he was here with Dan Quinn, and blah, 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 about Stevie, how good it was. Joe did nothing to pay it forward. And Joe, they can make a movie about my life, about so many things in my life that happened. People would flock to see it, especially when it comes out that I'm going to be the richest man on the planet. You know, scenes, scenarios from Mark Brannon's life and mine together. Mark Brandon, Encinitas, California. He was Mel Gibson in Tequila Sunrise. They made that movie. I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark Brandon in 1989 or 90 offered to do my Uncle Fred Riva for handcuffing me to a tree for 4.5 hours when I was 8 to 12 years old. Okay? And I said no, Doris Riva. I said no. And so Fred had all those years to make his money. And what I'm going to do is get an attorney to sue Fred Riva's estate for unspecified damages, especially since I was at Notre Dame, my first $1 million opportunity, homeboy. I'm accused of an attempted rape that their own priest testimony proved never happened. I was in a room with this girl, a locked door, for maybe 3 to 5 minutes tops. That's what the window was. By the time we were having a party, all these freshmen were in my room, and they saw that I wanted to hook up with this girl, and she was looking gaga. The reports were that she was looking gaga into my eyes, was mesmerized.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah. And so everybody left my room, and from them leaving my room and locking the door to when the priest knocked at the door was maybe 3 to 5 minutes, right? And their story was that her cries for help couldn't be heard because my stereo was playing so loud. Well, it was silent, according to the priest. And Notre Dame's attorneys advised Notre Dame immediately to settle. They told my attorney that they had advised Notre Dame to settle. We were going to blow them out of the water if this made it before a jury. Okay? Now, if you're on a jury, Camille, and you heard what I just said, and I'm a football player, I'm a potential first-round draft pick. Okay? If you were sitting on a jury, how many millions would you, how much money, I should have said millions. How much money would you award me for getting kicked out for an attempted rape that never happened?
It would have been a whole lot, man. A total kick.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah, total.
I should have been rich before, Joe. They should do a movie on me, straight up. You know what I mean? Especially since I'm going to become the richest man on the planet.
Did he go to this school?
What?
Rogan? Did he go to the college, same college?
No, Joe Rogan, he didn't go. I don't think he went to college.
When you
I mean, he did to some bullshit school that no one's heard about, probably. Too bad you don't have access. We could Google it right now. You could probably, this phone is so advanced, I'm not sure if we could videotape and Google at the same time, but I'm surprised that I haven't gotten contacted by anybody. Has anybody contacted? Since we've been videotaping, has anything come up by people trying to contact me?
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple times?
Yeah.
Was it women?
No, Andrew, someone else.
Okay. The Nigerian, he doesn't have anything to do, Joe. I wish I had money. I'd put him to work in Nigeria spreading stevia to those sick that need it.
Yeah. When you want to stop this, it's 27 minutes.
I'm going to stop at 30.
All right, cool.
Or around 30.
All right.
So, Joe Rogan, when I come into power, I'm going to legally fuck you up, along with Officer Greg Coautte and Officer Reali. Joe, you could have told the truth about stevia a long time ago, but you chose not to, and over 120 million women have died, or not just women. 120 million men and women have died from cancer around the world alone. That's not counting diabetes deaths. And Officer Greg Coautte, a former USC football player, I told you the story about him, didn't I? Where I remembered the name Coautte because it's uncommon. And I said, is that Greg Coautte? And they're like, yeah. How'd you know? And I said, I saw him play football at USC, and it almost made me not want to go there if he was a starter, because he was a weak link in a defense that I was going to star in. But it turned out the only reason why he was playing was because the guy in front of him, who I believe was named Norm Macdonald, got hurt. And I could be wrong about the Norm Macdonald part, but
Did they have you as a starter?
Who?
The college football team.
No, no. We'll go over 30. Come on, we'll go to an hour. Me not starting at Notre Dame was a joke. Lou Holtz, Dave Butler, number 37, on that play, came up to my room with a either a case or a 12-pack of beer and a fifth of Jack Daniels, apologizing for playing in front of me because I was so fucking good. And I said, don't worry, homeboy, it'll all work out.
Good catch, pal.
Yeah, so, no, should I have started? Yes, I was dominant. I was a dominant force in practice. I was a dominant force in the 86 spring game when you were fighting for position. And
Could you roll 1-2, Lucky? Could you roll 1-2?
This I had to see.
I can't roll it.
Yeah, so did I start? No. I was never given a chance because Jerry Faust, who loved me, I'll tell you what, this is a fact, Joe Rogan. this is, I haven't told you this. Okay, we were getting ready for practice one day, and the lights went out in the locker room. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, all I had to do was put on my shoes, and I knew that the emergency lighting, because it had happened before, and the emergency lighting in the hallway between, our locker room, the hallway, and then the coach's locker room. And I went out into where the emergency lighting was on, and got down on one knee and was tying a shoe. And I was in the shadows, and Digger Phelps, who was head basketball coach at Notre Dame, came out into the hallway along with Jerry Faust. Hal Moore was his defensive coordinator, I believe. He came out with all the white coaches. Greg Harris, your dad. He wasn't a part of the cabal to oust Jerry Faust, but I heard Jerry Faust's coaches laughing and giggling about setting Jerry Faust up to lose football games, homeboy. About how they told him about. Have you ever seen a field goal from kickoff formation?
Yeah. The starting lineup?
No. A field goal. A field goal. Have you ever seen it from kickoff formation? You've never seen that because they disbanded that rule like in the 1930s or something, right? But they had Jerry Faust waste an entire day's football, okay, a whole practicing something that was defunct in the 1930s because one of the coaches had mentioned it to him. Anyway, if Jerry Faust is still the head football coach at Notre Dame, my entire time there, you've heard of me, homeboy, because I'm in the NFL. Jerry Faust loved me. He would have had me on every special team since I was the fastest on the field. I would have beat everybody down like I did in high school on kickoff and fucking wreck people. Okay? But Jerry Faust got set up to lose football games at Notre Dame. They don't really care about schooling as much as they do winning. And so they kicked Jerry Faust out, didn't renew his contract, gave the job to Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz came in. He had a hard-on for Dan Quinn in a very, very strange way because I was so good. I dominated Frank Stamps. Frank Stamps played 8 years in the NFL for the Cleveland Browns and for the Los Angeles Rams, and he played longer than Cedric Figaro did, and Figaro dominated him.
That was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, that was in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and but they were still making the same kind of money, homeboy.
Yeah.
$300,000 a year back in 1985 money.
Shit.
That's a lot. You're doing something with that kind of money. Anyway, where was I going with this?
You doing like the football team?
Yeah, Joe Rogan. I was talking about Digger Phelps, head basketball coach, laughing with Jerry Faust's coaches about setting Jerry Faust up to lose football games. And I would go on a lie detector test, Digger Phelps, against you, and we would see, wouldn't we, Joe Rogan, if we had a program like that.
Danny, is there a power to smoke?
Of course, brother. Help yourself.
All right.
Anyhow, Joe, I was on one knee tying my shoe, and I hear this, and what am I going to do? I should have waited the entire time until they disbanded, but I stood up and slowly walked past them and looked them in the eyes and shook my head in my helmet. Okay? Was I in my helmet already? I don't think so. Anyway, that happened, Jerry. And then Lou Holtz came in, and you should never have been fired from Notre Dame. You were a perfect fit. But Notre Dame wanted to win football games too badly to suffer you getting set up to lose football games. Yeah, no shit. So,
What about the Army and Navy?
what about
College. I have to say
in football?
football, yeah.
Terrible, man. I played fullback for like 3 or 4 plays against Navy in Notre Dame Stadium, and we were beating Navy so bad that they put in people who did like the scrubs, quote unquote scrubs on the team, to form an offense. And I played fullback for a couple plays, and I put their starting inside linebacker on his ass on a drive down the field to a touchdown. And Bob Satterfield, God rest his soul, scored a touchdown. Yeah, so anyway, Notre Dame, foul, completely. The priests, Brother Touch, wanted to come up and get every male. He didn't want to give females a hug. He wanted to give males a hug. Brother Touch, Brother Tom. Every time that I went and took a shower, Brother Tom would come to my room and want to talk about something and want to see me naked. Swear to God. No shit. Icky stuff.
Instead of a 15, I got 5 extra. Instead of not you having the 5, you got the 5 extra. You hear me, John Jay?
That's the video.
That's all right. He can move. That's John Jay, purveyor of fireballs on a regular basis, and generally a good guy. I meet the highest quality people in the lower socioeconomic classes. Did you hear that?
You meant is like at a lower level and lower class people. You meet good quality people.
You meet good quality people. People that you don't have to worry about taking to court because they keep their word. It's the people like Donald Trump that they have attorneys for, homeboy.
It's like using your resources that you have around you. Any tool you can pick up and hold on to, you can utilize that in your day-to-day life.
Yeah. And it's too bad that people like Spider and his crew aren't running things, and Snubs and his crew aren't running things, and even Gator and his crew aren't running things, because America would be a lot better off if criminals were in charge. Don't you agree?
I say so.
Yeah, definitely. The true criminals are the politicians and the businessmen that control them.
Right.
And they have no honor. They don't keep their word. There's no repercussion except legally. And that doesn't happen in the lower socioeconomic communities, Joe. People keep their word, otherwise they get smoked, beat up, dealt with.
Yeah.
That's right. What time are we at, Kamal?
37 minutes.
37 minutes. Okay. Well, I'm making a video, 760-809-1744, to any female out there that wants to become world famous. And to any guy listening to this who knows a female, okay, who would want to get world famous, being in the Fountain of Orgasm for Women video, pay it forward to her, and when I'm rich, I'll give you a house, a car, and $100,000. I'm going to be a billionaire many times over, and $100 million would cover 33 people, I believe, for a house, a car, and $100,000. Isn't that the number we came up with in the 30s? Right? So I can take care of 30 people who are a part of the link of me getting Stevia globally famous. And that's just at $100 million. What if I took $1 billion out of trillions, and paid it forward, which I'm planning to do. I'm planning on taking the pyramid, turning it upside down, and stamping it into the ground for a firm base so it's a level playing field for all.
I'm going to excuse myself from the video. I got to pace.
All right.
This is Aleki. Nice seeing you guys. Nice talking to you on Danny's channel. Until next time.
Lay's going to be my driver and a bodyguard.
Don't forget you gunman, me.
Straight up. So, Joe, I'm going to make a movie showing the Fountain of Orgasm for Women. That's going to become famous, okay? You still have time, Joe, to save yourself. All you have to do is pay Stevie forward, pay me forward on your show, and I'm worthy, legit, Joe. The fact that I fought Frank Mir before he became world champion, You know, that's proof in itself that I should be in your show. The fact that I discovered the fountain of orgasm for women, further proof. The fact that stevia cures, further proof. The fact that stevia triples water in size and it turns into a white soup, that's a gas. They can run engines. That's the penultimate fighting championship, potentially. Okay? Dan Quinn's penultimate fighting championship. Better than the ultimate fighting championship, because what we do is we pay 95% of all the proceeds back to the fighters that make it. Kind of like a Conor McGregor scenario when he was pay-per-view, but only spread across the board. Yeah, that sounds good. There would be a defection of UFC fighters in droves, Joe, and that's what I'm going to do with the first money that I get as payback, because you guys fucked me over and try to trip me up instead of trying to give me a hand, a helping one, you try to fucking stab me in the back, and you did. So to Gator and the Aryan Brotherhood, I don't really care what you guys think, because I'm not a part of your crew, and I don't want to become a part of your crew. And I'm going to have blacks and Mexicans around me to protect me, you know, from any white boy that has any ill will. And to Taz, Sack Maniac Taz, part of the 33 of a house and a car and $100,000 would be you if you found me a cancer victim to cure within your area, okay? Through everybody you know, give me a cancer victim to cure, and I give you $100,000, a house, and a car. And you don't owe me for saving your life. Yeah, I tell you what, come on. If I don't stop this guy from going into my cell, my cellie, Bryce Peeler, he had sharpened his knife to where it drew blood. Okay, Bryce showed me in his own palm. Okay, that it cut, and he was planning on doing away with Taz, killing him, because he thought he was looking at 35 years to life in prison. I think they put an L on it. I'm not sure.
Damn, man. Damn.
And so I stopped Taz. Well, did I stop Taz? The door cracked. I put it against the wall. I came out, put my foot against the jamb, and I pivoted, and I stood there like this, going like this, not like this, not to alert the cops that there was a potential fight, but I was like this with my hand, and Taz made one feeble attempt to come in. And when I say feeble, he thought about it, he started walking, and he's like, nah, you know, caught himself, and he did it again, and finally he walked past me, and he called me a bitch or a punk.
Damn.
What? Either one. Do you know the difference between a bitch and a punk?
Punk's punk. Scaredy cat.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I did is I stalked him down, and I wanted to kick his ass for disrespecting me.
Yeah.
And instead of giving his knife to a minder or someone to take care of, he just tosses it on the ground. He comes forth to do battle, and I knock him out. I put him on his ass. He was on Queer Street. He wasn't KO'd, unconscious. He was on Queer Street. He didn't know where the fuck he was. I still could have taken his win either way, but I chose not to.
Thank you,
And he was white, and I'm wondering if I would have any repercussions from the whites if I were to return to the pen. I'm getting something in my eye. I think it's smoke. Where are we at on time?
44.
44? Okay. We'll wrap this up. 760-809-1744 to anybody that can help Dan Quinn get famous. Find a terminally ill cancer victim. I'll cure him with stevia, water, and a blender. They can copy my directions and copy themselves into perfect health, like my uncle did. Okay? Or 760-809-1744 for a female or a guy who knows a female who would like to become world famous in the Fountain of Orgasm for Women video. Okay? It's going to happen. Every time I press my fingers together over your G-spot, it's going to make you come. I'm going to take you to 30 in 10 minutes, and then I'm going to talk about stevia splitting water into a gas, hoping to piggyback. You've seen when I turn water into, I've done that. Come on.
Yep.
Okay, isn't that kind of strange, amazing?
Yeah, that's really truly it, man. Amazing.
All right. Have a scientist see it and be like, oh my God, Dan Quinn found it. Good.